Well, just after saying it's easier to work with Russia than Ukraine on peace talks, Donald Trump has threatened new sanctions and tariffs on Russia over its bombardments of Ukraine. And this after previously suspending US aid to Kyiv in a stated bid to encourage diplomacy. Trump's warning to Moscow, published on his Truth Social platform, came hours after Russia launched a massive drone and missile attack on Ukrainian energy facilities. Trump wrote that based on the fact that Russia is absolutely pounding Ukraine on the battlefield right now, he is strongly considering large-scale sanctions and tariffs on Russia until a ceasefire and a final agreement on peace is reached upon. Soon after, Trump said that he finds it easier to deal with Russia than Ukraine in efforts to end the war. He added that he trusts and believes Vladimir Putin, reiterating his previous statement that Ukraine does not have the cards.
I think we're doing very well with Russia, but right now they're bombing the hell out of Ukraine, and I'm finding it more difficult, frankly, to deal with Ukraine. And they don't have the cards. They don't have the cards. As you know, we're meeting in Saudi Arabia on sometime next week, early. And we're talking, I find that in terms of getting a final settlement, it may be easier dealing with Russia, which is surprising because they have all the cards. I mean, and they're bombing the hell out of them right now.
Now, despite threatening new sanctions on Russia, Trump said that he understood why Russian forces had inflicted a massive bombing campaign across Ukraine overnight. Trump continues to push Ukraine hard and ordered a pause in the US military and intelligence assistance to Kyiv earlier this week. When he asked if Putin is taking advantage of the pause, Trump shrugged off the impact of intel sharing pause and said Putin's doing what anybody in that position would be doing right now.
You, Mr. President, think that Vladimir Putin is taking advantage of the U.S. pause right now on intelligence and military aid to Ukraine?
No, I actually think he's doing what anybody else would do. I think he wants to get it stopped and settled, and I think he's hitting them harder than he's been hitting them. And I think probably anybody in that position would be doing that right now.
Now, without the U.S. intelligence, Ukraine's ability to strike inside Russia and defend itself from bombardment is significantly diminished. Washington has also now suspended Ukraine's access to the U.S. government-purchased commercial satellite imagery. Ukrainian forces have been using the satellite imagery for tracking the movement of Russian troops and assessing damage after strikes. As cracks widen in Kyiv's partnership with Washington, Ukrainian Foreign Minister Andriy Sybiga held a phone call with U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio and said that Ukraine wants the war to end and the U.S. is essential for achieving lasting peace. President Volodymyr Zelensky has also reaffirmed that Ukraine wants peace as soon as possible. Now, ahead of talks with U.S. officials in Saudi Arabia next week, Zelensky has said that Ukraine is determined to be very constructive, adding that the theme is peace as soon as possible, security as reliable as possible. But Zelensky's advisor, Mikhailo Podolyak, has asserted that Ukrainian president will not apologize to Donald Trump for their spat at the White House. As American and Ukrainian officials meet in Jeddah, Europe's 5 main military powers will meet in Paris to discuss support for Ukraine. France's defense minister will reportedly hold talks with counterparts from Britain, Germany, Italy and Poland on Wednesday. And this comes at a time when Donald Trump is reportedly considering pulling U.S. troops from Germany. Around 160,000 active duty personnel are stationed outside of the United States. a vast quantity of whom are in Germany. Trump is weighing up withdrawing some 35,000 active personnel out of Germany. The move could further sour the US-Europe relations. Donald Trump has repeatedly warned that Europe must commit more to its defensive capabilities. And reports have quoted sources saying that he's angry that the continent is pushing for war. As per reports, Trump is considering redeploying troops from Germany to Hungary. Hungary has maintained a close relationship with Russia, often opposing EU sanctions on Moscow. More recently, at an emergency EU summit in Brussels on Thursday, Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban vetoed a commitment to bolster support for Ukraine. For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.